Welcome inside the Yellow Studio. My name is Randy Cantrell. This is leaningtowardwisdom.com. And the cool lights glowing off my head, the flat panel TV on the wall of the Yellow Studio. Clever. Let's be clever, shall we? It's fun to be clever. Well, it draws attention to us, and we like that. We need attention. We want attention. I'm not above being clever when it comes to names, when it comes to titles, when it comes to initiatives, but I think we can be too clever, and I think it can get in the way of being productive. Illustrate? I'm not going to be the chief executive officer. I'm going to be the chief happiness officer. Meaningful difference? Read a book by an education consultant. Principals are no longer principals. They are CLOs. They are chief learning officers. Oh, well. That just makes it all better, doesn't it? As Matt Foley would say, famed motivational speaker, well, Lottie frickin' da, you're a CLO. Well, that fixes everything. Hello, school reform. Chief Learning Officer, and I read, and of course everything had a new name. You know, classrooms weren't classrooms. They were learning laboratories, or they were learning environments. And we really think that in these clever ideas, these clever notions, that those make meaningful differences. As a guy who is steeped in the business world, where real progress has got to be made or you die, the market kills you, I can tell you it's hooey. It's complete, utter hooey. Yes, sometimes in business we craft things. Those of us that are steeped in managing and leading, we understand human performance. We understand human persuasion and influence. Case in point, in 1999, the world was very worried that come year 2000, we had what we call this Y2K. It was just, everybody was just terrorized by it. Y2K. Our computers, they are not geared for that year to roll over from a 1900 number to a 2000 number. Oh, the banks are going to shut down. You won't be able to pump gas. Credit cards won't work. Your microwave oven's going to blow up. Everything is just going to be utter chaos. Of course, none of it came true. And as I got to the latter half of 1999 and began to plan for the year 2000 in the particular business that I was running, I did come up with, okay, call it clever, a clever catchphrase. The intent was not to draw attention to moi. The attention was drawn to what's the objective going to be for year 2000? What's the goal? Well, on my mind at the time was this incremental increase. Businesses are notorious for, well, let's go for a 3% increase. Let's go for some incremental increase, and many businesses are always satisfied with that. Let's just keep trending in the right direction. I was bored with that. I had a sense that my staff, which had been together for some time at the time, they were bored with that, and I wanted to challenge everybody. I wanted to do something bigger and bolder. The word people like today is something more audacious. So, in my mind was this super clever phrase. It wasn't terribly original, but it was intended to just spark the imagination and to capture everyone's attention that we're not going in the year 2000, because we're now entering a completely new era. We're putting an entire century behind us. All of that coupled together sparked me to entitle the year 2000 as a year that we would go for quantum leap. Quantum leap, that was the phrase. I assembled staff notebooks, gave it to the staff, and every week at our staff meeting, everybody would show up with their Quantum Leap 2000 notebook. Well, it served its purpose. The cleverness wasn't designed to be a distraction. The cleverness was designed rather to intensify the focus on the objective, and that the objective was not going to be what it had been in years past. It wasn't going to be this, we're going for this incremental increase. No, we're going to go big or go home. Now, I can tell you as a leader, people get behind those kind of things. It's hard to get people on board with, we just want to be a little bit better this year. Let's do that. Doesn't that excite you? Doesn't that make you want to get out of bed in the morning? No. We want to be a whole lot better. How about we test everything? How about we just unshackle ourselves from all of the beliefs that we've had, the things that frankly might have constricted us in the past, and how about we just untether ourselves from those things, and what if we think really big? Isn't that more fun? Sure it is. It's always more fun. And that's exactly what happened. But as I read, and as I read blog posts, as I read books, as I listen to interviews, man alive, are we hung up. We really love acronyms. We just super love acronyms. Let's get a word that just kind of, it's clever, and now let's think of other words or principles that begin with the first letter of this particular thing, and let's craft an acronym. Yeah, that's what the world needs. The world needs more acronyms. Oh, that'll make it all better. Performance will skyrocket if you just have a really clever acronym. But the field of education is no different than business or any other industry. We love those. We love these things. And when it comes to being clever with language, well, come on. We all need our own language, because you know what that does? It keeps outsiders outside. They can't understand what we're talking about, because our clubhouse, we've got the secret handshake. The secret handshake is we talk our own lingo. And, in education, just like business and just like science and just like law, well, we want to sound hoity-toity. We want to be clever. We want to be clever, so we want to use these words that only we know the meaning, and frankly, some of us in the industry, we don't even understand the meaning. Being clever. And so, principals aren't principals, they are chief learning officers. Question: what's the impact of that? If your school has not a principal, but you have a chief learning officer, is your school better than my school because my school just has a principal? How is that meaningful? My school has classrooms. Oh, your school, you've got learning environments? Hey, well, hooray for you. That makes it all better. Boy, there's the answer for school reform. We're going to contrive our own version of the matrix. And what you've known, that we're going to reinvent this. We're going to call people by different titles. We're going to use different nouns than we've used in the past, i.e., it's not a classroom, it's a learning environment. Oh, well, there's your answer. We've been wasting our time for years and years and trying to make education different. All we got to do is retitle stuff. We just got to name it something clever. I'm sorry, but it's arrogant, it's pompous, it's self-serving, and it gets in the way. It's a distraction. It doesn't contribute to the cause. It doesn't contribute, in my opinion, it doesn't contribute to making things better. All it does is muddy the water. And like I've said before, an old-time preacher friend who's now gone on, he used to say, when a preacher would get up and he would rattle on for about 40 minutes or an hour and nobody had a clue what he was preaching, his comment was always very valid, very true, and I'll never forget it. Oh, yeah, everybody thinks muddy water is deep. And boy, is that not true when it comes to those of us that are interested in and look at what's happening in the field of education. Everybody thinks muddy water is deep. So all the highly educated, all the brainiacs in the planet who are telling us how things ought to be and renaming things and relabeling things and using 50 words when 10 would do, it's deep. Man, it's deep. Yeah, it's deep. I agree, it's deep. The question is, what is it? It ain't mud. It's the same color, but it ain't mud. I'm Randy Cantrell. The website is leaningtowardwisdom.com. Till next time, hey, it's Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th. Till next time, see ya.